Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 11 of the Car Flip Show. Today we're going to look at a couple of things around my car lot. One is going to be looking at vehicles with body damage. How do you evaluate those when you're looking to buy? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Should you stay away? Should it be something that you maybe look for in particular? We're going to look at that and go over the reasons why. Also, we're going to look underneath a vehicle that we're currently working on in our shop. So in the back of our building here, we've got a Jeep Wrangler on the lift. Just going to give you a look underneath. Not work that I'm doing, work that my mechanic Rob is actually doing. He is all things mechanical in the back, so I stay in the front, he stays in the back. He is like the king of mechanics, so he will be back there doing his thing. So we're gonna get to that later. Just nothing in particular, just kind of showing you what we're doing. We're actually taking the transfer case out. The main job is taking the transmission out, just giving you a look at what goes on here at our car lot. So we'll give you a look underneath that vehicle. So right now we're actually gonna turn the camera and go here. This is a 2007 Mercury Milan. Now this is one, I was at the auction, this comes through. A lot of people see this and you would be thinking, you know, should I even consider it? This would scare some people. Let's say this is on Craigslist. Let's say you're scanning Craigslist and you see this. For me, this is gold. This is all day long cars that I want to find, because a lot of people are going to be scared to death of this. They're not going to want to touch it. They're going to think it has major damage. So it limits the number of people interested, which means it should lower the price significantly enough that you can get a good deal. Now, this bumper is loose. We have a light connector here that should go right here to a cover that is actually right here. This is the replacement part. This is actually the only part necessary to fix this vehicle. This is a bracket that actually sits right here on the inside. This is a piece of the broken bracket. So as you can see, it matches up here. The rest of it is still in here, so this would fit in there like so. So basically all that has to be done, there's a bolt here. I'm sorry, there's actually a bolt on the back side. This will go here, there's a bolt here. Undo those two bolts. We're gonna pop this in. This connector here will actually come out of the back, unplug, and then it'll slide right into there. We've already got this socket installed, so we'll leave that there. All I have to do is plug that in, bolt this on, and these, if you'll get close, these little nubs here are actually a clicking mechanism that click into this bracket. So once we install the bracket, all we have to do is take this, click, done. The only other thing right here, we're probably gonna remove this headlight. This little piece here from the impact probably bubbled it out, so you can't necessarily pry it in there. As I was trying to, the paint wants to trip a little bit, so we're going to leave that alone. What we'll do is pop the hood. And if you look right here and here, we've got two bolts. I will pull these out, pull the headlight out. This here will then be able to be pushed down. We'll install the headlight, and it's going to keep it flush. Otherwise, if it didn't want to adjust, you could always take a heat gun, put the heat gun to it, push it down, then reinstall the headlight. We're good there. This will click in. This is a body damage that will be fixed for probably right at around 20 bucks. This is the only cost that I have so far in $20. If you wanted to, you could get some touch-up paint. All of this here will wipe off with like a paint thinner or some type of product like that. We'll get these little scuffs off. So it'll be two bolts, click, take the headlight out, push that in. This body damage is fixed for 20 bucks. This would be a vehicle that a lot of people would avoid. You fix this little bit of damage, you've got a car in great condition. It's a 07, 132,000 miles. This is leather, sunroof, heated seats. Great vehicle, especially to stay in a price range of under $4,000. This is something that I would ask anywhere from, for a deal, I could price it around $4,000. I could probably list it for $4,950 and maybe get $4,500 for it. So this is a vehicle that definitely will sell quick, just given it's in a good price range. It's got good miles, and it's going to be fixed with this. Next, we're going to take a look at my cameraman's car. Now, this one looks like it has more damage, and it does, but as we walk up to it, you will see this. Now, he's actually filming right now, and he's sort of smiling, sort of sad because it happened, but the story I heard was he was driving and a deer ran out and hit him. That's right? Okay, he's nodding, so this is true. So he's riding, a deer hits him. I would have freaked out, like, what just happened? So he's driving, deer hits it. If you see this on Craigslist, that over there, people are gonna be iffy about. If you were to see this on Craigslist, most people are going to avoid this at all costs. They're not gonna wanna deal with it. You got a crushed in door, you get ding here, ding here, ding here. Bumper's pushed out in the back. There's a couple imperfections around the rest of the car, but nothing major. You know, for a 2001 Mercury Sable, this is the exact same vehicle as a Ford Taurus. So, you know, things are to be expected. You've got a little clear coat peeling off the spoiler here. I am told that his neighbor placed a dirty biscuit on this. I don't know, dirty biscuits. An old biscuit that became dirty, that messed up the clear coat. That could probably be wet sanded. That's a video for another day. Wet sanded and buffed, it should be fine. This would have to be repainted. So you'd have to have it painted, cleared, probably $100 to fix this. I probably wouldn't worry about this if I'm buying it to sell it. If this vehicle appears on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, you should be able to buy a car like this for around $300 to $500. It's not necessarily missing a tire. It's actually in his back seat. He had a tire blowout here recently, so we've got the spare tire up here. That's another thing that helps you immensely when you're looking to buy a car if it's got a spare tire on it, especially if you have the rim, because it's going to cost for a used tire $25 on a good day to buy a good used tire. You replace that, you're good for $25. This door, and I don't think we can open it. Actually, we can. Here, look at that. If you'll bring the camera in here, what I would be looking for on body damage like this is inside the door. We want to make sure everything in here looks like it should, and an easy way to compare that, we won't because we already have, this all matches up with the other side. There's nothing bent, damaged, out of place. A good place to look for that kind of damage is in areas like this. Make sure this is straight. You can compare it to the other side. Areas like this, make sure it's straight. You would see wrinkles or buckles. All of this is factory, these little seams here. So everything is good on the vehicle itself. We just have damage on the door. This door can be bought, as we looked up earlier, and we'll put a screenshot of the prices we were seeing. We were looking at LKQ, a local LKQ here in Clayton, North Carolina. It's right outside of Raleigh. So you can see the car right here, and you can see the prices over here. These are just the generic prices that this junkyard charges for vehicles. We're gonna buy the ones with the hinges, just because these hinges are probably okay. What the hinges get you, if you'll bring the camera around in here, when we get the door off of the one, and I'm gonna let him pan in here, they charge you an extra $5 to keep these hinge assemblies here. If not, you've got to disconnect them. It's worth the $5 to have them, because basically, if you bring the camera back around to this side, we're buying this door cheap. We've got bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. Door drops off. We replace that. 2 people would be nice for this kind of a job. So for under $70, we've got a brand new door. The paint color is the exact same. So we put the door on, we're good to go. And instead of, you know, him selling this car for $300 to $500, he could then, with this car having 179,905 miles, this is easily a $2,000 car. If your car runs, drives, looks decent, has decent tires, and the AC and heat works, it's hard not to get $2,000 for a car. You could sell it for less if you wanted, but I would probably price this in good condition, cleaned up with a good door, good tires. On my lot, I've got it for $2,450, probably, and hoping for the best. If someone came in with 2, wonderful. If I got 16 or 17, you know, I'm not doing bad if I paid $300 to $500 and put a $70 door on it. So this is the type of damage that looks really bad. If I replace this door, I'm not worrying about this. This is minor. You could try, if you wanted to come from behind it and push those kind of things out. You can actually touch this. So you potentially, with the tire off, could pop up under there a little bit, but I'm not worried about this. This here, I might get some adhesive. I've got some Quick Set 20. It's an SEM product. 3M makes a version of it too, a Quick Set glue. So you could put some in there, seal it up, hold it for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It's gonna set and you'll be good to go there. So if you wanted to, you could do that. If I'm selling it, I'm not worrying about this. If I'm selling it, I might wet sand and buff this, maybe. But for $2,000, to have a good running, reliable car, this would be a pretty good fit, and that's something you can fix cheap. We're now gonna look at a newer vehicle. This is a 2010 Chevrolet Equinox. We had body damage right in this area. Now this has already been fixed, but I saved the fender to give you an idea what type of repairs can be done inexpensively that might look more serious. So if you can see, I don't know, probably in the shades better. If you can see right here, we've got a crinkle here. We got a dent down here. Now this sat right like that. I don't want to put it too close so I don't scratch the paint that's new. So the impact was right here. So we also had a little bit of damage right there. This fender cost $40 brand new. You can see the inside of it. To know how to install it, if you ever buy a fender, you just look at the bolt holes on the fender you're replacing. So we had a hole here, we had a bolt here, bolt there. There was one down here and then two right here. And there may have been some clips for that, the fender well right there. Pretty easy to remove, to install. I paid $40. I bought the paint for, I think, $23, I think. There's a paint store, automotive paint store up the road. And then my guy painted and fixed all of this for $275, I believe. So $275 plus 40 plus 30. I'm not gonna do the math in my head right now, but it's not very much considering the discount that I got because this went cheaper. This went through the auction. A lot of folks don't want to deal with this. They don't have a good connection for paint potentially, and so they shy away from it. This vehicle was purchased very reasonably, so I get a little bit bigger profit margin on this one because I took the gamble on the bodywork. Luckily, it was a cheap fender. Not all fenders are $40, but it's not uncommon. I buy them for $30, $35, $40 all the time at a local auto body supply store. If you haven't found one yet, look in your area, find a good auto body supply. Just search that wherever you're at. Put in your city, state, auto body supply. Maybe change the search terms a little bit. You'll find somewhere that sells auto body parts wholesale. You can set up an account and they'll give you a discount based on the fact that they think you're a garage or a auto body shop. So that is how you would look at vehicles and evaluate whether it's worth your time. Every one of these that I pointed out are ones that I would buy. I have bought two of them. The other one is our video guy Yannick's vehicle. That's one that I would buy if it went for the right price that gave me room to fix. I don't have any examples on my lot right now of vehicles that I would stay away from body damage wise, mainly because I didn't buy them because they were too much trouble. Ones that you would want to stay away from, let's say hypothetically, we had a vehicle that was hit right here. Now luckily for our Mercury Sable over here, it was hit more in this area. Doors are replaceable, but if we have a vehicle that is hit, that crunches in this here, if this area is bent, it's a lot bigger deal to fix this than it is to fix a door, because this type of damage has to either be cut in. If it's pushed in too much, you're looking at cutting in a body part, you're looking at someone refabricating this area. It's a lot bigger fix than it is for someone just to replace a door or for someone just to replace a fender. It takes someone that really knows what they're doing, and those people like to charge a lot of money because not a lot of people do. So that's the kind of damage you want to stay away from. Damage to an area like this, your support pillar in the middle. This is damage that is a lot more difficult to repair. Damage that involves the frame under the vehicle. So if we have frame damage, you have to take it somewhere that can professionally pull that frame, that can measure the specifications where it's supposed to be. Frame damage vehicles are ones that I generally shy away from. I don't do salvage cars usually, but those are ones that usually would have had frame damage, so those aren't ones that I do a lot on. So I hope that helps, gives you an idea of what you should look for on body damage cars, the amount of money that you should save. So let's say this vehicle, if I have under $400 in body repair, I wouldn't buy this vehicle necessarily for $400 less. I want to buy this vehicle for $800 less, put $400 into it, so I save $400 as a whole. That's the goal of buying vehicles with body damage, is to come out better. Your time is worth something. But the good thing about a repair like this is, I buy it, I send it to my body guy, I don't do anything. I don't have to turn any wrenches, I don't have to do anything. I just buy the part, send it to my body guy, I wait, I pay him the money, and I'm good to go. It's a nice way to save money up front to create a bigger profit margin. So the less you have in it, obviously the bigger that margin. This is where we want to be making our money. If we can bring that price down, our margin stays, or actually gets bigger. So our price will stay the same up top. We can create that margin if we can lower our investment. So that's how to look at body damaged cars. Next, we're gonna go inside, we're gonna get under a Jeep Wrangler. So let's go inside and we'll take a look at that transfer case we're currently removing. All right guys, we are under a car right now. I wanted to do a quick, just look at what it's like on a day-by-day basis here at our car lot. I'm not always the one that's here removing things. Actually, I'm usually never the one that's actually doing the big-time mechanic work. This is actually our mechanic, Rob. Say hi, Rob.
Hey.
So this is Rob. He is pulling a transmission right now on a 2002 Jeep Wrangler. Before we can pull the transmission, we have to remove a few things. If you'll pan the camera down there on the ground, that is actually the transfer case pan. The transfer case pan mounts, if we'll come back up here, to the frame of the vehicle. We've got 1, 2, 3 bolts that come through the pan, hold this pan on. The transfer case pan's job is to hold our transfer case here. So to get this transmission out, which is here, so basically we got transfer case here, we have transmission here, we have engine here. This being a 4-wheel drive, we've got the engine going to the transmission. We would have a drive shaft that would be here, going from here to the front. We would also have one coming out the back, which you can't see, but it's the same thing in the back that would go to the rear. So this transfer case is essentially putting power to the front and back. To take the transmission out, we have to remove our transfer case. It unbolts right here, which has already been disconnected. You see there's not nuts on these bolts here. So once this comes out, we're going to lower it down. We're going to be taking the transmission out, and then from there we'll have a new transmission, actually a reman transmission that's going to be replacing this current transmission. So that's all we're doing right now. Just kind of want to give you a sneak peek. If you ever are interested in doing this kind of repair, it's not overly complex. It's just having the equipment and the setup to do it. Us having a lift is very nice because we can get up, get under it, walk around. Some folks will do this thing on the ground. It could be done on the ground. It's November right now here in North Carolina. It's a little chilly. Wouldn't be the best environment to be outside. You get cold, shivering, you got cold metal. So it could be done, preferably not. But what we're going to be doing is removing this transfer case so that we can get the transmission down. So basically we're going to give you an over-the-shoulder view of what that looks like. I'm only here really to help Rob because he's doing the hard work on this because he knows what he's doing and I don't. So you can kind of watch as we do this, and we'll get this down and we'll go on to the next segment. So Rob's going to tell me what he needs me to do.
You know the drill. We're going to push back and separate the two units.
That'll work.
Or just a tad bit.
Watch your fluid dripping on you there.
Let's show you got your end.
Got it.
All right. Here she comes. Guess they had a little fun four-wheeling.
Definitely. I think we're wiggling now. There we go. All right, it's coming out the top right now.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to manhandle this one and not use the jack. We're just going to come out ourselves, hold it, and drop it.
That'll work.
All right.
Come on down. How far back do you want to go?
Right here, just set on the ground.
That'll work. All right.
And she's out.
That is taking a transfer case out of the vehicle. Rob probably could have done it himself. It's just the awkwardness of it. If you have two people, always grab someone to help. Last thing you want to do is drop that on your foot. But that is taking the transfer case out. Next thing that happens is our bolts come out on the front. We're going to disconnect everything up top, and the transmission will come down. Pretty similarly, we'll have it mounted here on our lift here. So we'll put this under here, we'll lower it down nice and slow, and then drop it on the floor and put our new transmission in. All right, so we weren't actually planning on doing our next clip in this episode, but turns out our transmission was ready to drop, so I went back in to help drop the transmission. So this is going to be the continuation of transfer case coming down. This is the transmission coming down, so we're going to jump into that right now. Right now our job is to lower down the current transmission. It's been unbolted, and it's a matter of us going down and wiggling around different things. We've got exhaust in the way. We've got a couple different things hanging. We're just going to get around. All the bolts should be good. So in a perfect world, it comes straight down and wiggles out perfectly. We just got to get out and down. So we're coming back.
Uh-oh. That exhaust.
Hitting the exhaust?
Yeah. All right, we're free.
This is why it's really nice to have two people doing something like this.
All right, I'm gonna come down. How's my exhaust?
So far, so good.
I'm gonna hit it, ain't I?
You're bumping a little bit in the front, but I think you'll get around it.
Coming down slow.
You're clear over here so far. There'll actually be a link in the YouTube video for this exact jack. And we'll probably even mention that it's a 2-stage jack. A big benefit to the 2-stage jack is what you're going to see here in just a second. We're going to hit this bump and then the second part's going to go down. It allows you to get the jack down lower, especially with something heavy like this, so you don't have to lift it as high. Taking it down is not so bad. Lifting it up can be a different story.
Now, ready?
Yep, and we're dropping it right in the box, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. And now we'll bury this outside with all the other dead transmissions. Now this is in a box, a case, because this came in this case from Advanced Auto Parts. It's a remanufactured transmission that is right there. This being the old one will go back as a core. Most of the time there's a $400 or $500 core on a transmission like this. So we send this back, we get $400 back. And so it gets boxed up here. All the warranty information just fell off on the floor over there. So in a nutshell, that's what's involved in removing a transfer case and a transmission. Obviously that was way, up high. We didn't get into the nitty-gritty of every single bolt. The transmission had to be, well, I guess the transfer case had to come out first. That transfer case pan had to come out. Not every vehicle has a transfer case pan. The Wranglers do. Transfer case pan comes out, transfer case, transmission, and now it's doing it all in reverse. Obviously knowing where every single individual bolt goes is beneficial. For me, I would have to look it up on a site like AllData, which would tell me where every bolt is. For Rob, he can do it with his eyes closed at night, with one hand behind his back. But for me, I'd have to know where every single bolt is. If you don't have something like AllData, that's a $200-300 a month expense. You could Google this. There are people that have done write-ups on, detailed, video walkthroughs of removing transmissions like this. People have even taken pictures and posted pictures from sites like AllData or Mitchell On Demand. So you can find those things. If you had a little Haynes manual, you could buy for 20 bucks on Amazon. That would get you through a job like this if you don't have the expertise like Rob does. So that is in a nutshell what a transmission job looks like. So that's basically what's involved in dropping a transmission. Obviously, like I mentioned, we didn't go through the nuts and bolts literally of where they all were and how to remove every single little thing. That's kind of an overview if you ever had an issue and you're wondering, can I do a transmission? The answer is maybe. If you were able to find information, basically an overview of how to do the vehicle that you're working on. The awesome thing about the internet today is pretty much everything you could wonder about most vehicles is somewhere on YouTube. That's maybe how you found this video. You're looking for information about car flipping. So if so, here you are. Maybe you need information about your vehicle, transmission removal, alternator removal. Obviously your first job wouldn't be a transmission removal. I started out replacing alternators, AC compressors, and I do a lot of that still. I don't do engines, I don't do transmissions because I've always paid somebody. It's always been reasonable enough for me to pay someone to do that kind of job as opposed for me learning from scratch because I can do other things. I'm out buying cars, making videos like this, selling cars. For someone like Rob in the video, this is what he does. Like he can do these things with his eyes closed, whereas it would take me a lot longer to get to that point mechanically to feel comfortable doing it. But it's definitely something that if you're wanting to go further mechanically, if you want to make and save money on your flips to increase your profit margin, if you learn to replace the engines, replace the transmission, it increases your profit margin because you don't have to pay someone else to do that work. You keep it in your pocket instead of paying someone else. Same thing with the body damage vehicles that we looked at. If you can buy things with a little bit of damage that doesn't cost that much to fix, so instead of paying $2,000 for a car, you pay $1,100, spend $200 to fix it, then you're at $1,300, so you've increased your profit margin by $700. That's a great way to increase those profit margins. When some people are flipping and they're making $500 and $600 a car, that's okay. Like if you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, an extra $500 or $600 a month would be amazing for a lot of folks. But imagine if instead of that, you're making $1,500 to $2,000 a flip. How much better is an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month? What if you're doing 3 of those a month? The numbers get a lot of fun when that's the case. I try to keep my profit margins higher because it's less effort for me. I don't want to put in the same amount of effort and make 500 bucks. I'd rather put in the same amount of effort buy it correctly, whether it has body damage or a little issue that I want to fix, and make the same amount or make more money with the same amount of time, which is where body damage cars sometimes come into play. Vehicles with mechanical issues like a transmission could be the same thing, the same mindset. You're buying with an issue, you're going to send it to someone to fix, so you buy it, send it off, you don't do anything until it's fixed, you pay the money. As long as you can keep that profit margin where it needs to be, that's definitely a viable option. So that is episode 11. Thanks so much for watching. You will see a link at the bottom of this video that's been different than some other ones. You'll see these in some future videos. We're gonna put a link to some things that we're using in these videos. The only link we're gonna put in this one, I believe, is for the transmission jack that I mentioned. It's a 2-stage jack. So you'll see a link for that. If it's something that you ever would need, the one I use is a good one. It's not the top of the line. It's very reasonably priced. It's like 130 bucks on Amazon. So it's something you can buy as long as you're not using it like 4 times a day and it needs to be your primary go-to kind of thing. And this is one that we use it maybe once every 3 weeks. It's been good for us for the past 2 years, and it's 130 bucks. So you can't really beat that. Obviously that price may vary in the future. Amazon prices fluctuate. I paid more for it 2 years ago. The prices come down, so now might be a good time to buy it if you are looking for that type of equipment. So pay attention in future episodes. There'll be links to Amazon for future products and tools that we use. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.